good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you're going to watch us. It's your host, Kawina Obstrisha is my name. Immediately you see me on the screen, just know that there is a topic to be discussed on. So the topic under discussion is navigating peer pressure. So before we go any further, let me allow my guest to introduce herself. Yes, madam, would you please kindly introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Sherin Handongwe. I am currently a volunteer and clinical officer at Kayombo Royal Center. Yes, and thank you very much for according me this opportunity to talk about navigating peer pressure.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, viewers, just like I was saying, our topic under discussion is navigating peer pressure. So let us go to our question. Madam, could you please kindly, what does it mean to navigate a situation?
Okay, so navigating a situation or navigation simply means finding the right way to deal with something or finding the right way to go about something. Yes, so it can be whatever kind of situation, but making sure that you find the right way to deal with it.
Okay. Since we are also talking about navigating peer pressure, you've explained to us what navigating is. So, what is peer pressure?
Okay, thank you very much. So, peer pressure is simply the influence that a society exerts on people to be able to change their attitudes and beliefs, or for them to conform to their attitudes and beliefs.
Okay, so we go to our next question. Have you ever been pressured to do something you were not comfortable with? And how did you handle the situation?
Okay, thank you very much for that question.
Sure.
So, when I was in college, because I went to college when I was like 16, 17. So I was still a teen myself. And I would have been easy to bully into, doing whatever other grown-up people would want me to do. So there will be times that my friends or roommates, so to say, would be like, okay, let's just go party. Maybe tomorrow even have a CA. But they'll be like, hey, let's go party. We can still catch up and whatnot. But I would try to explain to them my reasons for not wanting to go to those parties. I was just not comfortable with me going to party or anything like that. So I would find a way to explain to them, not in a way to hurt them, but just to really explain to them that, okay, I'm not just comfortable with me going out and partying. That's just not how I was raised, so to say. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we go to our next question. So our question is, have you ever disagreed with a group decision, and what really happened in the end?
Okay. Okay, so most of my examples will most likely be the ones that I had through college, because that's when I had that time to really navigate. Yeah. So there's this time that we were given an assignment. We were given an assignment. So the kind of lecturer that we had, he would point at random. So I told my friend saying, okay, this lecturer is different. He's very different. He just points at random. But then we're like, wait, no. We'll just accord ourselves. If there's someone doing the introduction, someone doing the main body, and the conclusion, we just give each other parts.
Sure.
But when the time came for the presentation, guess what he did? What he knows best. He was just pointing at random. And we ended up having lower marks than other people because we didn't work as a team, because they couldn't really understand where I was coming from. Like, I know this kind of lecturer, a lot of people have told me about him. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you share an example of a time when peer pressure influenced you to change your mind, and what really convinced you?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to talk of the time that I was in grade 12. So I changed schools right at the beginning of my grade 12. My grade 12.
Sure.
So I moved from Lusaka to Northwest in Kapompo.
Okay.
So I to be honest, I became a little bit playful, I stopped really studying hard. So by the time I was changing schools, coming to Northwestern here, um, I was lagging behind a little bit. Okay. So when I came here and I saw the culture of like the culture of learning, like how strict studying was here,
Okay.
I just had to pull myself. I just had to pull my stockings. I saw my friends, studying extra hard, studying extra hours. So I just had to, the pressure got to me for me to, pull up my stockings and, be able to improve on my studying, and that really helped me a lot because that was positive peer pressure, so to say, because there's negative and positive kind of peer pressure. So the positive kind of peer pressure is the one that will help you studying harder, develop ambitions and ideas. So that is a good or perfect example that I can give for how peer pressure got to me and how it helped me.
Oh, okay. Learn something from that. At least there are negative and positive peer pressure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so our next question. Okay, let's imagine. Okay, imagine your team wants you to submit work with a mistake in order to meet a deadline, but you have noticed the error. What would you do?
Okay, thank you very much. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm a volunteer and clinical officer, and we tend to submit monthly reports and all that. So if I were to see an error, if I were to see an error, I'll try to talk to my colleagues, okay, and work together so that we can correct that error. Because at the end of the day, we are working with people's lives. We are working with people's lives, and if such errors are not corrected, at the end of the day, it's the patients we are putting at risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you are right. Dealing with life is something else. Okay. So our next question is if your manager asks you to do something that seems unethical and your colleagues say everyone does it, how would you respond?
Okay. In this case, a manager is obviously higher than me. She's my boss or she's my boss at that point in time. But it doesn't mean that if someone is in authority and you're lower than them, you just have to bend your head and follow whatever they are saying. They are also people. You can actually talk to them. If you actually express yourself or you actually bring in opinions, people are able to actually understand and try to understand where you're coming from. So in that case, especially something that is very unethical, I wouldn't go along with it, but I would really try my level best. Even if it's not going directly to the boss, there are channels I can go through. Even someone who is lower than the manager, maybe that person can be able to talk to that to the manager himself. But otherwise, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that if you have superiors, they just bully you into doing whatever they want, even if it's wrong. At the end of the day, it's about trying to express yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
And also maybe doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So we go to our next question. How do you balance being a team player while still trusting your own judgment?
Okay. Being a team player doesn't necessarily make you blind to things. You can be a very good team player, but then at the end of the day, when you disagree with something, you just have to express yourself. You don't have to lose your judgment. You don't have to lose your judgment just because I want to be a team player. So you can be a team player, you can separate the two. You can be a team player and have very good judgment at the end of the day. Yeah, it doesn't mean just because I'm in a team, now I have to be oblivious to the bad things that are happening. So if I can be a team player, I definitely can be my own person as well. Me being a team player doesn't change my personality or my character. So at the end of the day, I will be a team player, but my judgment shouldn't be compromised.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, madam. Okay, so our next question is when is it acceptable to go along with the group, even when you are not fully in the agreement with the decision?
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
So there are many times that you can actually go along with the group without fully agreeing with them, especially if it is the kind of peer pressure that is positive. Let's say, for example, a friend encouraging you to study an extra hour. You might be hungry and very tired, but you can actually go that extra hour of studying because at the end of the day, that's like a kind of positive peer pressure. You're not fully in agreement because you really just want to go and you're exhausted. But then at the end of the day, you agree with them because it's a positive kind of peer pressure and it will bring about good results at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so that one we are going to put it under positive peer pressure.
Yes, positive kind of peer pressure because someone is encouraging you to go an extra mile, an extra hour of studying, or maybe it can be an extra hour of exercising to keep your body, fit. So at the end of the day, that kind of influence, even when you're not fully in agreement with it, it will actually help you to bring about something that is positive and good to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So, our next question is: what does maintaining integrity under pressure mean to you?
Okay, thank you very much. Maintaining integrity under pressure just simply means I have to do the right thing, even when it's harder or slower. It means that I don't have to want good things or good results to come out of my laziness. It means that at the end of the day, I'll have to work for something, even if the process is slower and harder. At the end of the day, I'm maintaining my integrity. I'm keeping my integrity while doing that extra work, while being patient. So it really matters how you deal with something when you're under pressure. So maintaining your integrity is you doing the right thing, even if it is slower or harder.
Okay.
Yes.
So, is it wrong for me to say no to something, or maybe let me say I'm thinking that if I say no, maybe I'll be hating my friend. So, is it okay for me to say no to the things which maybe my peers are doing?
Yes, it is very, very fair. It is very right for you to say no when you're not comfortable with something. Because at the end of the day, I think one of the way we're going to eradicate peer pressure is if we teach our children, we teach our teens to say no. Something that you're not comfortable with, something you do not align with, something that is going against your values, your behaviors, you don't have to agree with just because this person is popular, even if whatever they say you just go along with it because this is a popular person. You have to have your own personality. You have to have your own character. You have to say no when you are not comfortable with something. So if we actually teach our children to learn to say no, we are going to be halfway to eradicating peer pressure because at the end of the day, even if they see something on social media, you know they would be like, okay, yes, I would love to have such kind of a life, but I have to work hard for it. At the end of the day, not them trying to cut through corners and being pressured into doing things that they are not comfortable with. So saying no is really, really the best way to eradicate peer pressure.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, viewers, just like we've heard, saying no is not a crime. Okay, so our next question is as a community, how can we recognize that someone is experiencing peer pressure?
Okay, thank you very much. So, as a community, we can know that this is peer pressure in the following ways. First of all, we've got different types of peer pressure.
Okay.
So we've got the one which is by method of delivery. So how the peer pressure is coming to you? Is it coming to you directly? Is it indirectly? Is it through teasing or is it through cyber peer pressure? So I will try to elaborate on the four that I've mentioned. So the first one is direct kind of peer pressure, which is under method of delivery. So the direct kind of peer pressure is where someone literally just tells you, okay, let's go steal something. You'll be pressured into doing that. No, let's go partying. You'll be pressured into doing that. Someone is directly telling you to do something, even when you're not comfortable with it. Then the indirect kind of peer pressure, it's the kind where someone doesn't even have to tell you. They don't have to tell you, no, let's go party. When you see your people of your age group going to party, you'll be like, you know what, I also want to do that. I also want to go party. Okay, no, I know I have a CA tomorrow, but let me just go party. You go with it, even if someone didn't invite you, even if someone didn't tell you to do something. It's kind of in the way you conduct yourself, the way you dress. No one has to tell you about something, but then it's just registered in your head. Okay, I don't have to do this, I have to do this. That's the indirect kind of peer pressure. Then the third one, which is teasing. Teasing can be just someone, passing a comment or through jokes, you'll be like, you need to lose weight, even if your BMI, according to when you go clinically, your body mass index is just okay. But just because an influencer maybe on TikTok, they slimmed in less than 2 weeks, you even, get to do dangerous kind of maybe fasting or starving yourself because someone said something. Maybe that's not even the reality. That's not even how they lost the weight. Maybe they really took their time. But just because, someone made a joke about maybe your weight, someone made a joke about how you dress, someone made a joke about how you look. At the end of the day, that's why in our Western countries, people end up changing their faces almost every time. Someone talks about their nose, they do plastic surgery because the pressure is getting to them.
Yeah.
Someone didn't go directly and told them, they're like, maybe I was just making a joke. It was just a funny joke. But at the end of the day, someone registered it in their head. They were like, maybe I'm not pretty enough. I'm not really pretty enough. I have to go and, make my nose a little bit slimmer. So that's the other way peer pressure can come to you through, teasing or put downs or jokes. Then the other type is cyber peer pressure. So as we are now, we are evolved. We've got phones. Everyone is on TikTok these days. Everyone is seeing things on social media. So social media has really destroyed most of our teens because at the end of the day, someone who is 14 would want to have something that someone that is 30 and worked like 5 years to have that thing did. Like they would want to have it in months. So at the end of the day, that's what we are finding. Most of our teens are being pressured into, prostitutions, having sugar daddies, doing things that are really immoral because at the end of the day, they want what a 30-year-old has and they're just 14. So at the end of the day, this 14-year-old wants something that is really high up there. So instead of them, trying to work up their way to find that thing, they just want to make shortcuts. So at the end of the day, cyber peer pressure is becoming more and more frequent compared to even someone directly telling you something, because most of the times we are almost always on our phones. So at the end of the day, a 14-year-old will not even be taught to let's go partying. But then at the end of the day, when they see something on social media, they would want to follow that trend. At the end of the day, most of our teens are, getting into peer pressure. So that was the 4, which was by method of delivery. And then by impact and outcome. So that's where now the positive and the negative kind of peer pressure comes in. So the positive kind of peer pressure, like the example I already gave, is someone encouraging you to study, you seeing your friends studying and trying to pull up your stock, and that's something positive. That's something positive that is coming out. There's a positive outcome. The pressure is getting to you, but it's something positive.
Okay.
But the negative kind of peer pressure, it's where you are forced to do something that when you are on your own, or when you are on your own, you can't do. So just because I'm surrounded by this group of people, I have to act a certain way. That's the kind of negative peer pressure. That's where now self-esteem comes in, whereby if you are let's say for example a pupil, yeah, when they are with a certain group of people, they act different. That's why sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, but why do you act differently when you are playing with such a person? Or maybe you're with Elizabeth, when you're with Mary, you act different. But when you're with Sombo and Kenya, you act different." What really happens? It's because at the end of the day, the negative kind of peer pressure is coming in. Maybe that same Sombo in Kenya has good influence on this person, but when she's spending time with these other friends, she becomes a completely different kind of person. It is because of the people that she's interacting with. So it is very important also to see the kind of people that we interact with, to choose our friends wisely, because peer pressure mostly peaks at age 14.
Okay.
At age 14, but it really begins at 10. So 10 to 17 is the point where peer pressure gets to a lot of teens. But when it's when teens are at 14, that's when it's the highest, because now all that their morphologies are they're changing, they're going through puberty, so to say. So at the end of the day, they get to be distracted by a lot of things. They at that point, I can just say, they can't really tell right from wrong. They're still growing, they're still young. So the kind of influence that is coming towards them, if they do not know how to filter, saying, okay, this is negative, this is positive. Okay, yeah, this I can go along with this, but I can say no to this. So that is why it is very important, even as kids are growing up, parents have got a very, very big role teaching their children on how to say no, how to choose friends, and most importantly, just relying on God. Because as a human being, at the end of the day, you just want to go with the where the world is going, where the wind is going. You just follow. But if you are really, really rooted in Christ, you have got a well up. You have been brought up well. You've got a good upbringing. You can reason for yourself to say, okay, yeah, this sounds like fun, but I can say no to it because I'm not really comfortable with it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, let me just take you back to cyber peer pressure. So, does it mean that, let's say, technology has brought more harm to, it has also contributed to peer pressure?
Exactly. In as much as technology has brought some good, it has really elevated the numbers of suicide cases. It has elevated the number of mental health issues. It has elevated a lot of things. The same peer pressure that we're talking about, it has elevated it. Because at the end of the day, in as much as I say that peer pressure is most likely in teens from 10 to 17, but there are also grown-ups, let's say the 25-year-olds, the 20-year-olds that are seeing their friends getting married and all that. At the end of the day, they start thinking like there's something wrong with them. That is why now at the end of the day, people are starting to they start pretending to be who they are not. Then we've had instances where someone was acting a certain way just for marriage. Then when they get married now, maybe the man even thought this lady doesn't drink, doesn't go partying, she's a well-behaved lady. But then when they get married, that's when now you see the true colors. So this lady would pretend so that she just wants the trend. She wants the weddings, she wants the nice honeymoons. At the end of the day, it is bringing a negative impact in people's lives. So social media can be a positive platform, but then at the end of the day, it is also bringing in a lot of negatives. Peer pressure, you see someone getting who is 25 getting a car, and there you are unemployed. You see, so at the end of the day, it starts weighing on your mental health. It's it disrupts your judgment. You end up doing things that you didn't. You end up doing things that you wouldn't even dream of doing, because at the end of the day, you want to go with the trend. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam. Our next question is so, what practical steps can individuals, families, schools, and also communities take to help people to overcome the peer pressure?
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful question.
Sure.
So now that we've educated our community, now that we've educated our members, saying this is how peer pressure comes in, this is how peer pressure looks like, because there are instances where a family can be with a kid who is being bullied, who is being pressured into doing things that they cannot do themselves, but they're not even aware of it. So at the end of the day, I'll begin with parents.
Okay.
Okay, so as a family, parents have got a big role to play when it comes to educating their kids. Be involved in your child's whereabouts. Be involved in how your child moods are, because at the end of the day, they can have a child who's being bullied at home, but when they come, being bullied at school, well, when they come home, they maybe their mood is very low. So parents should learn to read their children, and they should also teach them to say no to things that they are not comfortable with. They should be firmly rooted into their beliefs, values, and not them changing their behaviors. When they are home, they act like they're decent. When they go out there, they should have the same values and morals, whether they are at school, they are at home, or they are out there. So they have to be the same person. It's more like a triangle. They have to be the same person, whether they are at home, whether they're at school, or they're at play. They have to be the same person. If this young girl or young boy says no to drinking when they are home, when they go to school, they have to say no. Even if they go for a party, they have to say no to that drinking, because it's who they are. So as kids are growing up, as they're building their personalities, parents have a big role into playing to help them navigate peer pressure as they are growing up. So you should also be their parents should also be involved in their kids' schoolwork. They should be involved in their kids' schoolwork, because at the end of the day, a child that is not doing well academically can also be pressured in doing things that like cheating, in an exam and all that. And at the end of the day, it is also weighing on their mental health. They'll be like, maybe I'm just down, I'm just born down. So at the end of the day, the parents have to be involved in whether it's church work, school work, their children are just playing around. They should also be involved in knowing the kinds of friends their kids are hanging around with, because there's some parents that don't even care whoever their kids play with. Maybe they're bad influences on them or they're good influences. So parents have got a very big role in playing. That's family. So the community as well. The community has to learn to learn to evolve. Okay, this is 2026.
Sure.
This is not 1996. So the kind of pressure. Let's say, for example, marriage. I'll give a very good example in marriage. The kind of pressure, because people in the olden days would get married maybe at 18. That's early marriages. They would get married maybe at 17. Someone is already married. So if they still have that mentality of saying, why 25 and not married, they get to bring a kind of mental pressure to someone, in that someone can even go to an extent of the example I gave of pretending to be someone they are not. And then at the end of the day, when they got that marriage, they finally unpack their personality. And then this man was like, this is not the lady that I fell in love with. Then their marriage crumbles at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So the society as well has to protect their young ones. They have to protect their young ones. They have to work hand in hand with schools, with parents, At the end of the day, when we work with these teens, it will help them navigate through life, not just peer pressure, but life itself. We can help them have a very good way for them to live. Coming to schools,
Okay.
the schools also have to have a very good and working guidance and counseling office.
Okay.
Not just a guidance and counseling office for a name, but something that actually works.
Sure.
Even if a child is bullied, they can go to that guidance teacher and offload their feelings. They can actually express themselves, saying, "Okay, I didn't feel good about how this person treated me, or this person is actually telling me to smoke, and I don't want to do it." So at the end of the day, schools also can play a very important role because most teenagers mostly spend their time actually at school than home.
Yeah.
So let's say this is a child who's going at school at 6 or 7, they are knocking off maybe 16. Those hours are way longer than the time that they will be home. When they reach home 16, maybe they just do some chores home, have their supper, maybe do their homework and go to sleep. The cycle repeats itself. So teachers have a very big role as well. In as much as parents have a big role, teachers actually spend much more hours with these teenagers than the parents. So let them have a nurturing heart. Let teachers, either female or male, have a nurturing heart. Let them think of those things like their own. Like, okay, what if this was my child? How would I feel if she's pressured into doing things that she's not comfortable with? Okay, so teachers have got a very big role as well to play, and especially I will emphasize on the guidance and teachers office.
Okay.
That office can be somewhere that kids actually unpack a lot of things. Even if they have situations that are currently going on home, they can go and vent and talk to their guidance and guidance and teacher, so that at the end of the day it comes off their chest, so that their mental health as well is okay, it's good. So that is how the community, the family, and the schools can actually come about to help with eradicating peer pressure. And most important of all, let us teach our children to hold on to the faith. Let us teach our children to be strongly rooted in God, because at the end of the day, we are only flesh and blood, and God is the one that helps us in many situations that we can't even fathom. We can't even start sitting down, counting, saying, okay, Bajamulungu, he helps me here. There are a lot of things. For people to even reach as our ages, we've been saved by God so many times. So in as much as maybe people can fail us, in as much as people can judge us, God is the only one that can help us through and through.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, what words do you have to, let me say, the teens, those teenagers who are not able to talk to their elders, or let me say, they're not having that zeal of going to the, let's say, the guiding and counseling, or maybe talking to their teachers, or maybe they're not free talking to their guardians. How are they going to let me say, how are they going to come out so that they are able to offload whatever they are passing through, or maybe their peers are forcing them to do?
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful question. So, the word teens are going to, fight This is no longer about navigating, this is about fighting
Okay.
peer pressure.
Mhm.
It's for them to actually ask themselves a very important question: is it worth it to go along with this?
Mhm.
Is it worth it? What is the, what is the outcome going to be? What's the benefit of me doing this? You actually, you know, ask yourself such a question: is it really worth it for me to do this? And then in a scenario where kids are not comfortable talking, let's say, to them, to their guidance and counseling teacher, they're not free to talk to their parents or any other elderly person. There are actually peers that are not so bad. They can actually get to confide in their friends, someone that they know they trust, someone that they know has got good influence on them, someone that they know that at the end of the day, this someone knows gets my stories and start sharing with other people. They can start from there.
Okay.
Or if they still don't have that person, that their peer that they can talk to, they can start with journaling. Writing down your feelings actually most of the times helps. It's a way of venting. It's a way of venting of like, okay, I can't talk to this person. Maybe they'll think of this about me. I can't talk to this person. They will judge me. Okay, let me write it down. Okay. So if that doesn't work again, prayer really works.
Sure.
There's a way that prayer works that is so inexplicable. So they can try to talk to their God who listens all the time. Yes. So mostly I would encourage them to pray, journal, find a peer that has got good influence on them to talk to. As they are becoming more comfortable, they can open up to whoever they want to open up to. It can be parents, it can be just an elderly person. They just find someone to talk about what they are going through, because something that is outspoken feels much lighter than something that you're just holding on to. Yeah, so that pressure can actually tends to get to such kind of people who do not have an outlet, who just keep to themselves, just keep their feelings to themselves. That's how a lot of negative pressure gets to get to such kind of people. So I'd encourage them to find someone to talk to, journal, pray. That would really really help them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope viewers have gotten something from that. Whenever you are having or you're experiencing peer pressure, ask yourself, just like we've been told, is it worth it? Then also, just have that, let me say, have that zeal of opening up to your elders, a trusting friend, or even our parents. Yes. And also, not forgetting involving God also. Isn't it?
It is.
Okay. Sure. Madam, what words do you have for our viewers over our topic? Your last words to our topic, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
So my last words to everyone that will be able to watch this is that first of all, ask yourself: is it worth it? Is it worth it to go and party? Is it worth it to involve myself in something that's something that will be very hard to get out of? You ask yourself that question, and you just have to have your own personality. You have to stand firm on what you believe. You have to stand firm on your values, your attitudes. You don't have to change your personality because of someone. Why can that someone change their personality for you? So you have to ask yourself, okay, why is this person telling me to do this when them themselves cannot actually, they cannot do anything that's telling them, or they cannot do it themselves. Why is this person telling me to steal? Why can't they do it themselves? So we should have that, common knowledge of asking yourselves questions before, getting to act on something. So to our teens who are watching this, please, may you please get to don't let the pressure get to you. Don't let the negative kind of pressure get to you. the only kind of peer pressure that I'm allowing you to have is the positive one.
Yeah.
Where studying is concerned, where goals are concerned, you can have that kind of pressure. But the negative kind, let us say no to it. Let us be firmly rooted in what we believe in. What we are taught home should not change when we are at school. What we are taught at church shouldn't change when we are at home. Let us have this cycle that is very healthy, the cycle that no one can actually break, no one can come through. May you have that kind of cycle where it only has positive vibes, positive energy only. And don't forget to put God on the center of that cycle. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, madam. We've now come to the end of our discussion, which was navigating peer pressure. Thank you very much. I was your host, Kawina Obstrisha, and our guest was Ms. Shireen Handongwe. Not forgetting my producer, Mr. Nedo. Make sure you follow us on our various pages. Thank you.